Okay, so that first video, I wasn't really ready. I'm ready now. Okay, so when Jeremiah died, the night he died, I had I had went somewhere for a job interview, and it was far away. And before I left, he had came upstairs and asked me could he go back outside. And like a dummy, I should have just said yeah, but I think I said I don't care. Just I don't care. Just I know I said something else. I don't care. I don't mind. It's okay. Something like that. I didn't pay too much mind to it because we were home. And when I say home, my parents had been in that housing project since 1968, when all you had to do was be married to get in there. So when I say I was home, I was home. I grew up there. All my kids grew up there. So, everybody in the neighborhood knew Jay. They knew Jay. You understand me? And I wasn't even the kind of person to always be outside. But I was, it wasn't like nobody didn't know me, even if they just saw me. So anyway, I let him go back out. I had to go somewhere. He was, him and his sister were outside. So I really did, because there was a lot of them. Not a lot of them, just a lot of them and their friends. There was a shitload of them. So, long story short, I'm coming back home. Now, mind you, where I had to go to was Brooklyn. So I'm coming back home, and I get on the train. I'm coming home, and I was thanking God because I ain't have no job, and I was going to get that job, and it was going to give me something to do, get out the house, make some money, whatever. I promise you, because it was Brooklyn, and the job thing was so late because it was a cleaning job, so it was an evening appointment. I promise you that I got off that train, if I'm not mistaken, at 9:20. But I didn't have my keys, and I couldn't find them. I couldn't find I couldn't find the kids. So I my boyfriend, he had the keys. I had left the keys with the kids just in case they wanted to go upstairs. So I was able to find my boyfriend, and I went to the building, and we went upstairs. Now, mind you, we had gotten in the house. I think I was in the house. I couldn't have gotten off that train at 9:20 because it was like 9:30 something. It could have been 9:20 when I was standing on the block waiting anyway. Nonetheless, we get in the house. We get in the house. I don't even think we were in the house. It seemed like a long time, but you know how time is. So we was in the house, and basically two of his friends started banging on the door, and they started saying, "Miss Dawn, open the door. It's an emergency." So I go to the door, and his two friends are standing there. And like I said in the other video, one of his friends couldn't look at me. And his head was just down. The other boy, the other young man, he was just crying. He was just crying. And I still couldn't fathom what had happened. Jay's been shot. Now, when I said to this young man, if he ever sees this video, this will be the first time he knows. But when he told me Jay was shot, I don't know. I was just so calm, looking at him crying. I said, "Well, where was he shot?" Now, when I said where was he shot, I meant where is my child at? When he blurted out in the head, my heart just said, ugh. I still had to remain calm because now I have got to get people that can move faster than me to where my child is. All I remember is telling my boyfriend and his, Jay's been shot, go, because he had a bike. I remember picking up the phone, calling his father, and thanking God that he answered. Jay's been shot over there, such and such, go. All I know is that all I remember is walking. I think I remember coming out the apartment. I remember walking out my building. I don't even remember walking out my building. I honestly tell you, what I first remember is when I got to the dead end. And there were people there. And for some odd reason, I say to them, I see a crowd. And I'm working on numbness now. I say to them, did y'all hear gunshots? Now, yeah, that's pretty stupid of me to ask. But remember, I'm dazed. I'm messed up. I get to the beginning of the walkway where the cops are, and my daughter is on the bench. She is hysterically crying. And she was pregnant at the time. So she is crying. I walked up to, I looked at her. But I didn't stop. I looked at her and walked past her. I walked past a lot of people. I still remember the young man that came up there. I'm not saying his name because I care about him. I care about them. So I'm not going to say their names. If they, ever say it's okay, they don't care, then yeah. But Mikey, I don't give a fuck about you. I will never in life, never give a fuck about you. Because you a sociopath. That's why. And your mother raised a fucking sociopath. Anyway. And what's so sad about it is Mikey wasn't even the one that pulled the trigger, but the one that pulled the trigger showed more fucking remorse than the one that made the goddamn phone call. So that's why I always say that shit. Anyway, I was saying to you. Whew. I walked up to the cop. I will always remember him. Because I walked up to him and I said I'm his mother. And he looked at me and said, they're working on him. They still working on him, man. Just wait. Which I now know was a goddamn lie. Because I'm not even mad at him for telling me that because, well, he probably really didn't even know because he said that to me. Then the EMT people came with the gurney. And I remember yelling, Jamira, come on. Here he come. I look, turn back around. I'm watching the gurney, but Jay's not on the gurney. All of their equipment is on the gurney. And I say to myself, there must be a second gurney. And at the same time, I say to myself, they don't use two gurneys for one person. And I turn around and they are waving the white fucking sheet. They doing this shit. Doing this shit with the sheet. Like, man,